Yoon Jong-yu woke up from the chaos. She found herself in a closed room. Her whole body was controlled tightly, and she was even imprisoned in a thunder element cage. Her whole body was bound by ropes formed by thunder element energy. This is a kind of control prop, which is very expensive. It is obvious that the official gave her a special control method in order to control her and prevent her from acting recklessly in the chaotic state. When she woke up, her face became extremely ugly, because although she was in a state of chaos in the past 2 days, when she woke up, the memories of the past 2 days surged up like a tide, making her a little hysterical. Because of the epic boss Two-Headed Phoenix, she fell into a state of chaos. Before she fell into complete chaos, she and her teammates were trapped in the hideout and could not escape. She cleverly killed each other with her teammates and wanted to take the 3-second interval between resurrection to log off. But how could it be? When you have the chaos affix scale, you can't even log off when you die. This situation was completely beyond Yoon Jong-yu's expectations. In fact, the reason why she was so confident was because she had this method to back up. If she really didn't have time to escape, she would kill each other with her teammates and take advantage of the 3-second interval between death and resurrection to get out of the combat state and log off. But she never expected that the 3 affixes of chaos, whispering and nightmare, were affixes that affected consciousness and spirit. Even if their in-game bodies were in a dead state, their consciousness and spirit were still affected by these 3 affixes, so they couldn't log off. So, when she and her teammates killed each other and were resurrected at the resurrection point in the hideout, their faces turned extremely pale. When they looked up, they could still see the Two-Headed Phoenix's extremely teasing and mocking eyes. We are obviously players. Yoon Jong-yu completely collapsed. She found that she was like a clown in front of the boss. Then, she remembered something even more desperate. Although all of them were hit by the withering scale, and the damage was reduced by 99%, they madly released skills and killed each other, and they soon suffered heavy casualties. During this period, Shadow came and took away the Phoenix Egg, but their chaos did not stop. Yoon Jong-yu recalled that the young man who had pursued her for a long time, and her brother, were completely killed in such chaos. What on earth did I do? Yoon Jong-yu completely collapsed in the cage formed by the thunder element. She cried loudly and regretted heartbreakingly just a few minutes after she woke up. A group of official personnel came to the closed room. Some of them came from Kyoto City. Among them was a blind girl player who was surrounded by everyone. It can be seen that everyone was still cautious and ready to take action at any time to prevent accidents. Wang Yunyu, after the leading woman came in, she called Yoon Jong-yu's name, then sighed and said, "You are an important strong man and our official. Although these things have happened, you are still very important to our official. In order to prevent you from having any accidents in the future, we invited Miss Luo from Kyoto City. Her profession is a soul collector. As long as you agree, she can help protect your soul, so that even if your lifespan returns to 0 in the future, you will not die for the time being." Soul collector. Yoon Jong-yu heard this profession for the first time. When she heard the woman's words, she was in a state of collapse. Her mind was a mess, and she nodded subconsciously. The blind girl, Miss Luo, had no expression on her fair face, raising his hand. He released a link skill towards Yoon Jong-yu. When Yoon Jong-yu received the system prompt, she chose to agree. Then she saw a transparent figure like a little man flying out of her body, held in the hand of Miss Luo and stored. After finishing this matter, everyone around was relieved. Although the soul collector is nominally the guardian of the soul of the person, but at the same time, the most important thing is to control its lifeblood. Everyone looked at Yoon Jong-yu with a rather cold expression. From now on, as long as Yoon Jong-yu is disobedient or has any behavior of disobeying orders, he can be killed directly through his soul. Most people left, and in the end, only a man and a woman stayed and talked to Yoon Jong-yu. Wang Yunyu, your brother Wang Shanshui, your teammate Gao Langying have died because of the chaos in your team. The middle-aged man looked at Yoon Jong-yu and said in a deep voice, "We regret this. If you have anything to say, you can tell us now." Yoon Jong-yu's hair, dyed fiery red, was in a mess. She was silent for a few seconds, then raised her head, her eyes showing unwillingness. Why the official has a profession like soul collector, but it is not announced? If we are all protected by soul collectors, my brother and Xiaoliang will not have to die, right? Her tone was a bit aggressive, but the middle-aged man didn't care, and said with a smile, "There is a limit to the number of people that Miss Luo can protect. Besides, even if I tell you in advance, you may not be willing to be protected by the soul collector, because handing over your soul to the soul collector means that your life is controlled by the soul collector. As long as Miss Luo wants to kill you, you will not live for the next second." When these words came out, Yoon Jong-yu's head suddenly banged. It's over. She is also smart and realized at once. She was cheated by the official. I am very strong, so even if I make a mistake, they will not punish me. But they will use this method to control me firmly in their hands. Yoon Jong-yu was completely dumbfounded. The middle-aged man ignored her reaction and expression and said to himself, "This matter started because of you. You have to take the greatest responsibility. In addition, for Mr. Shadow, the Haiching official where you are, gave the Haiching Guardian Medal, which is a meritorious performance and helped Haiching resolve a major crisis." After saying this, the middle-aged man observed Yoon Jong-yu's reaction. Yoon Jong-yu lowered his head and nodded with a pale face. "I know I have no opinion on Shadow, I just want to kill that phoenix and avenge my brother in Aliang. Is that phoenix dead? The young woman who handled her smiled lightly. Don't worry about this. You will go to Kyoto with us in a while and join our second pioneering group in Kyoto. We have already made arrangements with your parents. Yoon Janyue's ending was doomed. She was firmly controlled by the official without any preparation. Not only because of the soul collector, but also because of her parents' relationship. From then on, she could only use her strength in Kyoto to contribute to the Daxia official. Of course, the official would not treat her as a cow and horse. When she arrived in Kyoto, there were naturally some special rules and regulations to mobilize her enthusiasm. Of course, these have nothing to do with Qin Feng. In short, before Qin Feng knew, under the circumstances, the official has already solved the unstable time bomb of Yoon Janyue. Regardless of whether Yoon Janyue has the mentality of revenge on Qin Feng, it has been completely strangled in the cradle by the official. As for Qin Feng, he kept killing monsters with the newly hatched little phoenix. In the process of constantly killing monsters, basically, every time you kill 300 monsters, you can cleanse the effect of the cursed slate of the goddess of extreme love. When Qin Feng cleansed again, his eyes suddenly lit up. Hey, this attribute is not bad. This time, the cursed slate is used on the legendary equipment Assassination Hood. Because the properties of the cursed slate are difficult to wash, it is easy to wash dozens of times without any useful properties, or some fatal negative items will appear first, so Qin Feng basically uses several equipment on his body in turn. Playing some metaphysics, you have added Curse of Alanas to Assassination Hood Legendary. Curse of Alanas, benefit affixed. Killing any player during the duration of the active effect of this equipment will refresh the cooldown of its active effect. Negative affix, the duration of the active effect of this equipment is shortened by 67%. Do you want to keep this curse? Yes, no. The active special effect of the Assassination Hood is to hide the identity. Hein Feng took a look. Unique special effect. Assassination activated. After you activate it, you will hide your identity for 10 seconds, and the player you kill will not know your game code. It will also be displayed as unknown in the kill record. Cooldown 3607, 59 seconds. This effect can be useful in some cases, so Qin Feng chose yes. It turns out that the cooldown time of this special effect is too long. But with the effect of this cursed slate, as long as you can kill someone when you activate the special effect, you can refresh the cooldown. For other people, this curse effect is very uncomfortable. After all, although you can refresh the cooldown by killing, it will reduce the duration by 67%. Originally, its duration was only 10 seconds. Now it's only 3 seconds. For other people, it is almost impossible to kill a player in such a short time. But for Qin Feng, don't say 3 seconds. Even Naro, 33 seconds is enough. You can keep this effect temporarily. Wash it slowly later. Coin Feng made a decision. After all, this effect is somewhat useful to him, but it is not necessary. If there is any better attribute to improve combat power, it must be replaced just at this time. Wanya Weiyu suddenly sent him a private message. Master, we investigated something not long ago. Regarding the epic boss, Great Disaster Hades, who suddenly appeared around the ruins of the Demon City, the reason why he appeared in that place is because someone wants to pull that boss to deal with you. The other party pulled the boss back from more than 2,000 kilometers away, and the destination is your hideout in the Evil Spirit Academy. Qin Feng was a little surprised to receive this message. There is such a thing. Qin Feng didn't care much, just smiled and asked, "How did you know?" The Soul Searcher, Granny has advanced to a higher level and can search the dead. But there are some other restrictions. Wanya Weiyu didn't say much about this, but said in a deep voice, "We observed that during the activities of the Great Disaster Hades, a guy was directly trampled to death by the boss more than 10 or 20 times and died on the spot. So we investigated the identity of that guy and found that he was a summoner. We found his body in reality and Granny searched his soul. After these 2 days, we came to a conclusion. The summoner took the life of the Sky Snake organization for more than 1,000 years and did this on purpose. He also planned to escape to Los Angeles City after success and become a manager of the Sky Snake organization." I see. Qin Feng nodded. This is indeed the style of the Sky Snake organization. However, Qin Feng looked at his experience and found that he still had 2 or 3 days to go. When he reached level 30, it would be the end of the Sky Snake organization. I didn't expect that the Sky Snake organization would send me such a big gift again. I'm so sorry, Qin Feng thought, with a slight smile on his face. However, Wanya Weiyu specifically told him this, not just to reveal this information to him, but there was a piece of information that she wanted him to refer to. The Sky Snake organization did this, and we officials can't just stand there and watch, Wanya Weiyu whispered. So we are also considering recently luring an epic boss to Los Angeles. You may know more about this matter. So I came to ask you about the situation. Manfeng was impressed when he heard it. The official means are still very tough. Tit for tat. So he asked, "What is the name of that epic boss?" Wanya Weiyu replied, "Like the Great Disaster Hades. It is also a level 30 epic boss. Its name is Ernie Ross, the Shocking Clown. We found this boss outside a shocking house more than 1,000 kilometers away from Los Angeles. I wonder if we can lure it to Los Angeles. Ernie Ross, the Shocking Clown." Qin Feng thought about it carefully after hearing this name. I have a little impression. If the previous life's Great Disaster Hades The process of attacking was relatively smooth. Then the process of attacking the Shocking Clown, Ernie Ross, was quite tortuous. In terms of combat power, the Shocking Clown's combat power is not as good as the Great Disaster Hades. But the key is the real main body of this boss is not the Shocking Clown that can be invisible and split, but the Shocking House. If the Shocking House is not destroyed, then no matter how many Shocking Clowns are killed, the Shocking Clown will be resurrected. If this thing is led to Los Angeles, then they are really blessed, Hinfeng couldn't help thinking. However, it is easier to lure this thing to the ruins than the Great Disaster Hades. Hinfeng was not convenient to say it directly, so he replied, "Okay, I know. I just went back to check the information and tell you if there is news." Wanya Weiyu was a little surprised. She thought that there were only two possible answers from Qinfeng, either knowing or not knowing. I didn't expect there would be a third answer. Can you check information anytime and anywhere? Could it be the function of the Eye of Knowledge? Wanya Weiyu knew that Qinfeng had invited an NPC back to the hideout of the Evil Spirit Academy. The Eye of Knowledge seemed to provide some information. Qinfeng went back to the Evil Spirit Academy to replenish his supplies. Then he gave Wanya Weiyu a reply. "I found out. That boss is easier to lure than the Great Disaster Hades. Just throw some monster corpses along the way. The Tremor House cannot be moved, and the Tremor Clown can only move within a certain range around the Tremor House. There is only one way to make the Tremor House move, and that is to throw monster corpses near it. The Tremor House has a feature. As long as there is a corpse in the nearby range, whether it is a monster or a player's corpse, the corpse can be used as raw material to build a new thrilling house. When a new Tremor House is formed, the original Tremor House will decompose. All the skills that the corpse that built the new Tremor House had in its lifetime will enter the skill pool. Every time the Tremor House generates a new Tremor Clown, in addition to some fixed skills, the Tremor Clown will have more skills randomly selected from the skill pool. It can be seen that the more players the Tremor House kills, the more complex its skill pool will be. If a player keeps dying, the combat power of his Tremor Clown will become stronger and stronger. And the difficulty of the Tremor House is that once there is a corpse in the range, the house can be reshaped and restored to full durability. You can imagine, even if you know that the Tremor House is the boss body, it is very difficult to capture it. In particular, if the house is lured to the ruins of the city, the gathering place of players, it will be more difficult to capture it. Of course, Hinfeng is not afraid. After all, he has the skill of Flower Curse, and now his skill can destroy corpses. Just destroy all the corpses around before the fight. Besides, if this thing is really lured to Los Angeles, I don't think there is any need for me to go there. With this Tremor House in the ruins of Los Angeles, it is much more destructive than Qinfeng alone. The most important thing is that the other party has time. Even if Qinfeng goes there, he will just kill the leader of the Sky Serpent organization and leave. I can't just stay there and level up without killing monsters, right? But if the Tremor House is still in the ruins of Los Angeles, it can turn the entire ruins into a terrifying city of death. So, Qinfeng mentioned to Wanya Weiyu the specific method of luring the Shocking Clown, including the maximum distance of throwing the monster corpse. The skill of the Shocking Hut to devour corpses and build a new hut has a cooling time and a maximum distance. Master the distance and time of throwing corpses, and you can lure the Shocking Hut to the Los Angeles ruins at the fastest speed. After Qinfeng told Wanya Weiyu the news, he continued to go out to find a place to spawn monsters. When Wanya Weiyu got the news, he was once again moved, as expected of the Shadow God. It seems that he really knows everything, or he can find all the information. How did he find it? Although there is an Eye of Knowledge now, but before that, he seemed to know everything. Wanya Weiyu felt that this big guy was really mysterious. Moreover, even the Shocking Clown far away in North America, this boss can find specific information. Fortunately, such a big man is in Daxia. Finally, Wanya Weiyu discussed the final details with Qinfeng, and after receiving Qinfeng's affirmative answer, Daxia comrades far away in North America start to act. North America. Outside the ruins of Los Angeles, a dark and terrifying forest more than 1,000 kilometers away, there is a trembling hut standing in this dark forest. This trembling hut is only the size of a bathroom, but it is surrounded by dark flesh and blood, and even beats like a biological heart. There is a door in front, and a strange black air is revealed in the crack of the door. Suddenly, a wooden man with a strange smile squeaked towards the trembling hut. Suddenly, a knife light flashed in the darkness, cutting the strange wooden man in half. Then, the wooden man opened and closed his mouth, and his upper body fell to the ground, making a strange sound of creaking. Thrill, hut, boss, body. Do you want to go to the ruins where players gather and kill them? We will help you. But you need to agree to one condition. After these strange words came out, there was silence in the forest. After a moment, a black figure with twisted limbs appeared next to the wooden man that was broken into two pieces, holding two bayonets, and said grimly, "State the conditions." The wooden man's upper body did not struggle, but just opened and closed his mouth. On the list, the guild members are not allowed to be killed. Otherwise, you will die. Guild. List. Daxia. Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Daxia. Immigration Department. The wooden man said more than a dozen guild names intermittently. I agree. The black figure with twisted limbs said a few short words, in order to show his sincerity. He even twisted his legs backwards and squatted down, stretched out his hands, and reconnected the wooden man that was broken into 2 pieces. This black figure with twisted limbs is Ernie Ross, the Shocking Clown. It is a flesh and blood polymer created by the Shocking House, and it is also the main source of combat power of the Shocking House. If this Shocking Clown is killed, then the Shocking House will instantly create the next Shocking Clown, but the skills will be very different from this one. On a hillside more than 10 kilometers away from the dark and terrifying forest, a middle-aged man wearing sunglasses, wearing a pair of flowered shorts, holding a cigarette in his mouth, his fingers are constantly jumping out of thin air. His profession, puppeteer. The strange wooden man who went to talk to the Shocking House is the puppet of the middle-aged man in sunglasses. This communication with the boss was confirmed by the Daxia official and Qin Feng, and was agreed by Qin Feng. First, he directly stated that he could see that the main body of the boss was the Trembling House. Then he negotiated with the boss. I thought the boss would be dismissive, but unexpectedly, the boss actually agreed. It's worthy of being called Shadow. You can actually deal with an epic boss. It seems that the rumors in Haicheng that he communicated with Phoenix are not groundless. Under the sunglasses of the middle-aged puppeteer, there was an expression of great admiration. He was sure that if he hadn't directly pointed out that the main body of the boss was the Trembling House, the boss would probably not negotiate with him so easily. It was precisely because of the guidance from Shadow that he was able to suppress the boss at the beginning. As for whether the boss would abide by the agreement after being led to the Los Angeles ruins, the middle-aged puppeteer was not sure. But all in all, it would not be bad for Daxia. Those listed on the list were all players in the Los Angeles ruins who had a deep connection with Daxia. Yes, some are official and some are private. But without exception, these people are still Daxia nationality. Either they are doing business abroad or studying abroad. In short, they are all trapped in this place after the godforsaken game came. In fact, if it weren't for the accident on the flight where Theodore was, some of these people would have returned to Daxia. But after that incident, flights between Daxia and North America were suspended again and have not been opened until now. It is precisely because of this that Qin Feng asked the people of Daxia to propose this condition to the boss. Although this condition does not restrict the boss, but this kind of boss is very smart. I can directly point out that its main body is the Trembling House, which can completely suppress it. If it really doesn't listen, then I can only go there reluctantly. Qin Feng's mouth curled up slightly, and I don't know what evil plan he was thinking about. Next, time flies. 2.5 days pass quickly. Qin Feng's experience value is finally just a little bit away from level 30. At this time, Wanya Weiyu sent him a private message. Master, the lava giant you asked us to pay attention to before has appeared. Are you going there now? That was outside the Dunhuang ruins in the northwest of Daxia. Every once in a while, an NPC lonely lava giant Kiyage will appear. This guy will carry all kinds of strange goods every time he appears. You can even buy epic equipment or skill books. There are also all kinds of strange things that may appear. Qin Feng has not been in a hurry to go to some super high multiple life flow rate areas to let the little phoenix grow recently, because it needs some special materials from infancy to growth period, in addition to satisfying the life flow. Some materials are more difficult to get, and players can't get them at this stage. So, Qin Feng asked Daxia officials to pay attention to this NPC named Kiyige. Okay. Kiyige can exist for 3 hours each time he appears. I will go there later. Qin Feng replied. Not just anyone can trade with Kiyige. Why is this NPC lonely? Because he is always surrounded by super high fire damage, at least at this stage. Players can't get close to that NPC, except Qin Feng's basic elemental resistance is very high. Not to mention the additional 24% elemental damage reduction of the soul-absorbing wristband, plus the amulet Zhang Jingxuan gave Qin Feng before. To be safe, I will upgrade to level 30 later, and I can evolve some defensive skills to convert the elemental resistance of spiritual attributes and pull it up again. Qin Feng continued to kill monsters, and the last little bit of experience can be done in 10 minutes. It was at this time. North America. Los Angeles ruins. Compared with the ruins of some major cities in Daxia, this place seems too chaotic. In the city ruins, smashing, burning and looting can be seen everywhere, while PK can be seen everywhere. In North America, the official guilds are relatively strong, and ordinary players dare not provoke them. Others have already fought on their own and respected the strong. Even the official guilds of each state are not of one mind. There was also a time when the official guilds of 2 neighboring states fought over an NPC. In short, this place is much more chaotic than Daxia. The survival rights of the weak are no longer guaranteed, and the Daxia players trapped here can only huddle together for warmth. It was also on this night. A terrifying rumor began to spread in the Los Angeles ruin. There's an epic boss called Ernie Ross, the Shocking Clown, who is secretly slaughtering players in the Los Angeles ruin, invisible and hard to guard against. In the Los Angeles ruins, countless players fell into fear. Fuck! That boss is killing like crazy in the trading market. It also targets people with long lifespans. It is said that there is a clone and it can be invisible. With an invisibility level of more than level 8, I was killed by this boss. And the system prompts that I died from an unknown existence, which is too weird. If the boss of the Crota Guild had not had a level 10 anti-invisibility and saw the boss's form, we would not have known that it was an epic boss. Wow. An epic boss. How could it come to our city ruins? The largest trading market in the Los Angeles ruins has been completely chaotic. Originally, this place was officially guarded, but the incident happened suddenly, and the official player guarding it was killed by the epic boss first, and then the invisible, shocking clown Ernie Ross began to swim in the crowd. One after another, players were killed. White, black, yellow. One after another, life balls were exploded, and then instantly sucked away by the invisible boss. The entire trading market was in chaos. Hurry up. Go back to the hiding place. In the crowd, a long-haired Daxia woman with a longbow hanging on her waist had a gloomy face. She was the manager of the Los Angeles Daxia Chamber of Commerce Guild, codenamed Dawn. She originally led the guild members to purchase equipment and skill books in this trading market, but this incident suddenly happened, and the surroundings were in chaos. When she turned around and left with the 5 players behind her, Dawn raised her hand and instantly released the skill, Clear Vision. Her eyes lit up with translucent light, and she swept forward, and suddenly saw a humanoid black shadow with twisted limb, holding a dagger in both hands. Walking through the crowd, the humanoid black shadow had twisted limbs and could even pass through obstacles at incredible angles, like a soft-bodied creature. Very strange. Ernie Ross, the shocking clown, level 30. Grade, epic. The simple introduction made the long-haired woman, Fuxiao, look depressed. You know, for this purchase, she has more than 700 years of life on her body. If she dies here, she will lose 300 to 400 years of life in one go, and she is not sure whether this epic boss has any special superordinate effects once she falls into a state of mumbling, nightmare, etc. It may mean real death. Suddenly, she saw the shocking clown, and he turned to face her instantly, as if he was staring at her. Go, she shouted, turned around quickly and led the team to flee. However, when she looked back, she found that the shocking clown smiled at her strangely, and then killed in other directions. It let me go. The long-haired woman Fuxiao did not know that her guild, the Los Angeles Daxia Chamber of Commerce, was on the official special list. Moreover, the boss was very polite and kept the agreement. This situation did not make Fuxiao and others realize the truth. They just thought they were lucky. Go back to the hiding place quickly, and try to log off if there is nothing else. Fuxiao made a decision and led the team to leave the chaotic trading market. An epic boss appeared in the ruins of the city, which is no small matter. Soon, Fuxiao led people back to the gold-level hiding place of the Los Angeles Daxia Chamber of Commerce, the Dead Bones Crematorium, and soon more Daxia players came up and asked about various situations. Nervously, the president was a middle-aged man, who was Fuxiao's father. Seeing his daughter breathe a sigh of relief, he said in the guild channel, "Don't panic. Just now, the diplomat sent me a message. This epic boss will not attack our guild members under normal circumstances. Of course, we should wait and see for the time being. Stay in the hiding place before we are completely sure of safety. You can go offline first. I will stay online to observe the situation." Upon hearing this, Fuxiao immediately said, "Dad, I'll go with you. Go offline." The middle-aged man looked at her sternly, waved his hand, and got busy with other guild backbones. When the news of Los Angeles Chicken came out, Anfeng was in the process of sprinting to level 30. He knew that the shocking clown had 2 superordinate affixes, instant death and nightmare, just like the great disaster Hades. But because it was not the boss body, it did not have superordinate affixes around it. It mainly relied on ordinary attacks and skill attacks to hit the instant death scale. When the target dies, the nightmare scale will be directly stacked with 100%, and it will fall into the nightmare state. This is a mechanism stacking, and no matter how high the nightmare resistance is, it will be useless. In other words, against the clown, nightmare resistance does not matter use. The only useful thing is the resistance to instant death in the Los Angeles ruins. There are already many players who have fallen into the nightmare state and resurrected in the hideouts of their respective guilds. After resurrection, these players began to scream and run around. They are trapped in a horrible nightmare and are in extreme pain every moment. They will not attack others, but will run away, leave the hideout, and run wildly outside in pain. And these players have been killed by the shocking clown before. In other words, they are players who have been selected by the shocking clown and have a considerable amount of life. They are trapped in nightmares and run around, and the shocking clown can harvest their life again and take away more of their remaining life. However, all this has nothing to do with Qinfeng. After working so hard for so long, he finally saved enough experience. Finally 30. As Qinfeng issued the upgrade command, he consumed all his saved experience. The level increased rapidly from level 25 to level 30 in an instant, between levels 20-30. Each time a player upgrades, he will gain 6 points of all attributes and 15 points of free attribute points. Therefore, Qinfeng directly upgraded by 5 levels, gaining a total of 30 points of all attributes and 75 points of free attribute points. Qinfeng added all the free attribute points to Spirit. He looked at his attributes. Code, Shadow. Profession, Shadow. Level, 30. Non-tradable lifespan, 12. 200 years. Tradable lifespan, 70. 800 years. Reputation, 537. Strength, 996 25 physical attack points converted per point. Constitution, 983 any health points converted per point. 7 physical defense points. Agility, 1469. Agility increases the speed bonus by 32%. Spirit, 120121 elemental attack points converted per point. 7 all element resistance points. Health, 34. 405 reduced by 5 due to Roslav's contract, 0% maximum health. Additional damage reduction, 56. 3806% from Roslav's contract. Befitch's equivalent exchange agreement. Additional elemental damage reduction, 24% from the soul-sucking wristband. Additional fire elemental damage reduction, 30% from the Fengming amulet. Physical defense, 6881 self plus 1231 equipment, 112 physical damage reduction, 89, 2%. All elemental resistance. A 407 self plus 980 equipment equals 9387 elemental damage reduction, 90, 37%. After Qinfeng looked at the attributes, he focused on the defense attributes, especially the elemental resistance. I have to buy things from Brother Qi, and I have to increase my fire resistance? If others knew that his 90% fire resistance was not enough, they would probably be confused. At this stage, the elemental resistance of top warriors and tank players is 60%, 70%, which is quite good. But Qinfeng, an assassin, with his super high spiritual attributes and Soul Devourer bloodline, has achieved 90% elemental damage reduction. This is still the damage reduction of basic elemental resistance, if you count the damage reduction, extra elemental damage reduction, and the effect of the Fengming amulet. Qinfeng's fire elemental damage reduction finally reached 97. 81%. This is why Qinfeng reached out and picked up the little phoenix that fell into the magma. He is not afraid of magma at all. Qinfeng's fire elemental resistance is higher than that of a newborn little phoenix. Of course, in the column of all element resistance, only the general situation is displayed. If you click on that column, each element resistance will be displayed in detail, some high and some low. For example, Qinfeng's lightning element resistance is higher than other element resistances, reaching 106.22 points, giving him 91.9% lightning element damage reduction. Lonely Lava Giant, Strange Brother. The basic fire damage around this guy is about 150,000 per second. Qinfeng doesn't remember the specific number. But anyway, it's more than 100,000, less than 200,000. So even if Qinfeng now has 97, 8% of the final fire damage reduction in that area, 2,000, 4,000 health points will be burned per second. And this damage is directly applied to health points, which cannot be offset by shields. Even if Osiris, with the current attributes, flies into that area, it will not last for a few seconds and will become a roasted dragon. As for the little phoenix gray chicken, Qinfeng took a look. After the level was raised, the fire damage reduction of the gray chicken increased from 90% at level 1 to 98%. This growth rate can be said to be quite fast. I didn't expect that the Fengming amulet given by Zhang Jinxuan would come in handy. However, this resistance is not enough. I must mention it again. After all, without a mount, Qinfeng still needs 1 or 2 minutes to get close to Brother Qi. In addition, the longer you communicate with Brother Qi, the higher the discount you can get when buying things. Therefore, the higher the fire resistance, the better. So he opened the skill interface. He learned several assassin skills related to elemental resistance, and then evolved to the legendary level, and then swallowed it. Originally, each point of spiritual attribute can be converted into 7 points of elemental resistance. Once these skill books are swallowed, 16 points of elemental resistance can be directly converted. These hundreds of evolution points are counted. Qinfeng's elemental resistance value doubled directly. All element resistance. Theory N arrived 29.6 element damage reduction 98. 7% arrived 95. 28%. Qinfeng was temporarily satisfied now. After this operation, the fire damage he received was reduced by half compared to before. Of course, not all of the skill books he devoured were obtained by himself. Some of them were purchased from the official. In addition, the official has also negotiated with him about the purchase contract of that batch of diamond level equipment in the past 2 days. Some of them were bought from Mo City, some from Zhanghai City, and other official cities of Daxia have also made allocation. It was this transaction that made Qinfeng's tradable lifespan reach 70,000 years. Otherwise, Qinfeng really didn't plan to find Brother Qi, although the quality of the goods on the NPC was uneven. Once there was a good thing, the price was in units of 10,000 years. If the lifespan was not long, there was really no need to find him. And when Qinfeng reached level 30, he finally entered the mid-stage of the God-forsaken game. Level 30 is a watershed. After reaching level 30, you can teleport to every city ruins teleportation array around the world. You can also challenge the road to the abyss with global rankings. You can also obtain a second bloodline. For Qinfeng, there are many things to do, but he can only eat 1 bite at a time. It would be best to buy a high-quality magic array foundation stone from Brother Qi. This way, the cost of global teleportation will be saved a lot. If Qinfeng wants to teleport from the ruins of the Magic City to the ruins of Los Angeles, using the city teleportation array will consume at least 200 or 300 years of life because the two places are too far apart. But if you have a high-quality magic array foundation stone and build a life source magic array, then using the teleportation array you built can save 80% or even 90% of your life consumption. The specific amount depends on the quality of the Magic Array Foundation Stone. Generally speaking, every time Brother Ki appears, he will bring a Magic Circle Foundation Stone. But the quality is hard to say. If there is a Magic Circle Foundation Stone that reaches the epic level, Yinfeng will make a profit. Then, Yinfeng took out the skill book Instant Destruction that he had obtained before. This skill book can be learned at level 30. After Yinfeng learned it, he threw all the evolution points accumulated in the past few days into it. You have consumed 100 plus 2,000 evolution points, and there are 249 points left. Instant Destruction, Legendary level arrive, Mythical level arrive, Ancient level. Consume 100 combo points. Instantly slash all targets within 5 meters in front of you. And add Agility at 200, arrive 300, arrive for 100 points of physical attack. If the target has continuous damage, all continuous damage will be increased by 50%, arrive 75%, arrive 100%. And detonate instantly. New effective Mythic level, the combo points consumed by this skill are halved. Bam bam. New effective Ancient level. When continuous damage detonates, the target's upper resistance is weakened by 60%, which lasts for 10 minutes. After upgrading 2 levels, the instant damage is more than doubled, and it also comes with an effect of weakening the target's upper resistance by 60%. This is definitely a powerful weapon for dealing with high-level bosses. There are more than 2,000 evolution points, so save them first. Save more than 3,000, and evolve the Slow Curse to the Ancient level, so you can get another Abyss Vase. Yinfeng closed the attribute panel. Using a teleportation stone, he returned to the Evil Spirit Academy. He planned to go to the ruins of Dunhuang to find the Lonely Lava Giant, Strange Brother. In addition, he could also visit the Tower of Divine Power over there. There's a very unique Book of Divine Grant, Lanzhou Ramen over there. Yinfeng hadn't eaten it for a long time, and he missed it a little. The most important thing was that the Lanzhou Ramen made with the Divine Book had plenty of beef. Just when he came back, he saw a petite figure who had just come back from the outside by hooking and climbing walls. Ghost. Yinfeng was a little surprised. Didn't I give you a few teleportation stones? Do you still need to run? The little girl was bumped into by Yinfeng and came in front of him. Lowering her head, I can't bear to use it. She was wearing the Black Flame Gift bone-piercing leather armor that Yinfeng had worn before, and the weapons in her hands were all replaced by Yinfeng. Even so, the grade of her equipment was far higher than that of other players. Even if the Daxia official purchased Yinfeng's batch of diamond-level equipment, it was not as good as the equipment and skill strength of the Ghost. The teleportation stone is only one every 5 years. Yinfeng shook his head. He threw another 10 teleportation stones to her and turned to teleport to the ruins of Dunhuang. For the Ghost, he generally let it go. But for resources like teleportation stones, it can greatly save Guiling's time and allow her to level up faster. And the stronger her combat power is, the more help she will naturally provide to Yinfeng, so it doesn't hurt to give her some. Guiling raised her head and looked at Yinfeng's figure teleporting away, holding 10 teleportation stones in her hands. Feeling a little bit amused, this is a resource that has never appeared outside at this stage. Teacher, will you really not lack lifespan? Even if this teleportation stone is made and sold, you can get rich overnight. Guiling couldn't help thinking. Of course she wouldn't sell the teleportation stone. After all, it was given to her by Yinfeng. Soon, Guiling sorted out her storage backpack and went out again, ready to explore a newly discovered underground ruins. That ruins seemed to be the ruins of the God of Skeletons. Guiling didn't know what was inside. In short, explore it first. If I can't beat it, ask the teacher what to do. Dunhuang Ruins. Yinfeng teleported to the ruins of the city and was greeted by a scene of flying yellow sand. He had a private chat with Wanya Weiyu and learned the coordinates of the Lonely Lava Giant, Strange Brother, then rode Osiris and flew towards that place. Nearly 20 minutes later, on the edge of a desert with flying yellow sand, dozens of official players of Dunhuang Ruins gathered together. They looked at the red flames burning in the desert in front of them and felt powerless. The damage of this flame is too high, and the range is too large? Yes. The surrounding dozens of kilometers are covered by flames, and only a faint figure of a flame giant can be seen on the horizon. Shadow said he was coming over to find the flame giant. I've already come to Dunhuang, but I don't know when I'll arrive. Everyone sighed and chatted. A shirtless young man, smoking a cigarette, said with a smile, I think Shadow will make a wasted trip. The fire damage is too outrageous. No assassin can withstand it. A girl retorted, that's not necessarily true. There is a high-level divine power tower in Guanggang. It is said that the survivability is very high. As a result, Shadow not only passed it, but also kidnapped all the NPCs inside. Another short young man shook his head. That's different. I heard that the challenge of the high-level divine power tower was lightning damage, which can be dodged and protected from damage, shield resistance. But this fire damage ignores shields, ignores damage reduction, and cannot be dodged. A burly man with a big axe on his back laughed and said, didn't we calculate it? The basic fire damage is 56,000. Who can withstand it these days? My 81% fire element resistance loses nearly 30,000 blood per second. I'm not bragging, just my fire element resistance is higher than mine in Daxia. No matter how powerful Shadow is, even if his fire element resistance is higher than mine, it won't be too much higher, right? How many tens of thousands of blood can he burn? Listening to everyone chatting, The captain of the Dunhuang official team did not speak. It was a woman with long braids wearing leather armor. The wheat-colored skin on her arms was particularly pleasing to the eye in the yellow sand. She had a leather belt wrapped around her slender waist, which had a unique wild beauty. Xiao Yu, Shana, Shadow will be here soon. Prepare your skills. The female captain with long braids called 2 girls. Add some fire resistance to Shadow and Spring Breeze. Okay. Yeah. The 2 girls nodded one after another, faintly excited. That's Shadow, the world's #1 existence. They are lucky to meet him, not to mention that they can provide a buff state to Shadow. Spring Breeze is a platinum level skill book. Its basic effect is average, and it can only last for 60 seconds, allowing the target player to recover health per second. But the female player codenamed Shana has the talent to increase the duration of all skill effects, plus some special equipment and skill amplification, so that her Spring Breeze can last for a full 326 seconds. And her milk volume is also quite high. During the duration of Spring Breeze, the target's health recovery per second reached 4,200 points. In this top official team of Dunhuang Ruins, Shana's treatment volume can reach more than 30%. In terms of healing and auxiliary ability, Shana's level is no less than Gu Yishui's. Not long after, a white bone sword pterosaur appeared in the sky, flying towards the side at an extremely terrifying speed. It instantly landed not far from the group of players. This scene made all the top players of the Dunhuang official nervous. On weekdays, their overall strength is one of the best in the Dunhuang Ruins. Ordinary players have to give way when they see them. And they are also the first kill team of the gold, platinum, and even jade levels in Dunhuang. Although the first jade level boss of Dunhuang was taken down yesterday, but it can also be seen that the overall strength of this team is quite good across the country. But now, just facing a Shadow makes all of them extremely nervous. Even more nervous than when they opened up the jade level boss yesterday. Several beautiful girls among them looked at the figure jumping down from the dragon, and their hearts were pounding. So handsome. But they don't know. Hinfeng jumped off Osiris with a little gray-haired phoenix on his shoulder, seeing a group of people waiting from afar. The gray chicken shouted excitedly, "Your Majesty, are you going to choose a concubine? Choose your sister. I'm going to eat roasted chicken." Hinfeng curled his lips and said bluntly, "Don't worry. I have thick skin and flesh. I can't roast it well. It's a pity that Brother Long can't resist fire, so he can't get in." The little phoenix said carelessly. This made Osiris unhappy, and he chuckled. Brother was suppressed in level and replaced with a mount template. What can I do? Back then, Brother's fire resistance was 99.4%. Can I be burned by this little fire? Gray chicken. Brother Long. The past is the past, and now is now. The food has changed a lot. Osiris couldn't stand it. Human assassin. Upgrade quickly and make a boss template for me to play with. Don't be ungrateful. Kinfeng couldn't stand this guy, and directly put it into the mount belt. Boss template. Do you really think you can do it if you want? Anyway, Hinfeng doesn't know how to do it. He hasn't done this kind of work in the past 9 years. He brought the little phoenix on his shoulder and came to the group of players. Shadow. Hello! Everyone was a little excited when they saw the Shadow. The gray chicken stood on Chinfeng's shoulder and waved its wing. My dear ministers, please don't be polite. Everyone was stunned. Little chicken? So cute. A tall girl with a veil saw the little phoenix, and her beautiful eyes lit up. The gray chicken put its wings on its waist and chest. Big courage. I am a phoenix. Ignore it. It's anxious. Xinfeng reached out and patted its head, smiled, and nodded to everyone. As a greeting, please get us in shape first. The tall girl with a veil was Shana. She raised her hand lightly, and a spring breeze blew on Qinfeng and surrounded him. Continuous recovery for 326 seconds. And it... Qinfeng pointed at the little phoenix. The girl Shana was stunned. It also went in. Won't it be roasted? Gray Chicken sighed. Have you heard of a phoenix being burned to death? No common sense. Qinfeng can only say sick. This guy complained that the lava was hot when he took a bath, and now he is so arrogant. Soon, the two priest sisters gave Qinfeng and the little phoenix a boost. One is the fire element resistance, which adds 450 points of fire element resistance for Qinfeng. It is better than nothing. The other is the continuous recovery of the spring breeze. At least during the period when the healing skill effect lasts, Qinfeng is unlikely to be burned to death. Go! After the status is attached, Qinfeng rushed into the flames. Sonic shoes. Start. Instantly break through the speed of sound. Slow down. Slow down. Before Gray Chicken could react, Anfeng had already disappeared, and the gray little phoenix didn't hold on firmly. So it fell from Qinfeng's shoulder and rolled on the ground for several circles. Can't you stand firm? Qinfeng sighed and ran back quickly. In the sea of fire, he picked up the little phoenix and then continued to rush into the flames. This scene shocked everyone in the Dunhuang team, and they all widened their eyes. Damn it. I just checked and Shadow's health is only burned by less than 5% per second. What? How is it possible? Even if he has 80% fire resistance, he will be burned by 200 health per second. Calculated in this way, he has 500, 1000, or 600 Zills in health. Could it be the legendary normal attack plus health? Grow your brain. This thing is useless just because it has more health. After all, it only recovers more than 4,000 per second. Even if it has 500,000 or 600,000 health, It can't last half a minute in it. So how high is Shadow's resistance to fire elements? Could it be that the flame has weakened? I'll try. I'm dead. Xianfeng held the little phoenix in one hand and ran at supersonic speed in the sea of fire. In his field of vision, a towering lava giant appeared. The lava giant was more than 1,000 meters tall, burning with flames all over, making the surrounding tens of kilometers of land burn red. Originally, Qianfeng could come alone, but in order to stay by the boss for a while longer and get a higher discount, he brought the gray chicken. Currently, there is a spring breeze effect, and the blood recovery can keep up. When we get to the boss, when the spring breeze effect is about to end, give the little guy a yang wei and let it recover my blood. Of course, in order to ensure the survival of the little phoenix, this abyss withering curse also needs to take effect on Qianfeng himself. He also needs to attack the gray chicken to restore its blood. This way, he can stay next to the lava giant for a longer time. As Qianfeng ran to break through the factors, the lava giant got closer and closer. Brother Qi was on fire and was half kneeling in the desert, with a pair of eyes burning with the flame of loneliness. No one will come to accompany Brother Qi. No one can play with the Brother Qi. It sighed, and a mouthful of flames rose by several hundred degrees. Just then, Qianfeng brought the little phoenix and approached at a speed faster than the speed of sound. Yellow sand was flying along the way, and a line of fire was drawn in the blazing flames. Someone is here to play with Brother Kia. The lonely NPC noticed Qianfeng. It enthusiastically took out a storage bag and placed it in front of it, with expectation in its eyes. And when Qianfeng ran over, naturally, he first checked the goods sold by this NPC this time. After just one look, Qianfeng's pupils shrank. Fuck! I made money? At Brother Qi's place, all kinds of props will be refreshed. Equipment and skill books are just the most basic thing, and it is possible to buy mythical divine weapons at the highest level. Of course, the probability of being able to refresh divine weapons is not high. In the previous life of 9 years, this strange brother appeared more than 200 times in total, an average of once every half a month. Daxia has been able to see and buy things from it for about 150 times in total. Among them, only 2 times did divine weapons appear. Once divine weapons appear, the basic price is at the level of hundreds of thousands of years of life. Of course, this strange brother does not carry a mythical divine weapons now. Moreover, even if it appears, Qianfeng may not be able to afford it. It is said that the longer you stay with Brother Qi, the higher the discount you can get when buying things. But at most it is 50% off, and it will not be cheaper. For Qianfeng now, normal divine weapons are still a bit far away. But in Brother Qi's product list, Qianfeng saw an equally rare thing: Sublimation Scroll. Divine weapons are at least mythical, and the Sublimation Scroll is at least legendary. Using the Sublimation Scroll, you can add an order effect to a piece of equipment. The effect of order has been seen before. In Guanggang, the Worm Queen temporarily gained the power of order with the cursed slate of the Goddess of Extreme Love, which can charm men who enter the range. This power of order cannot be resisted by ordinary means, while control, release, and hegemony are ineffective in front of order. Qianfeng first looked at this Sublimation Scroll. Weapon Sublimation Scroll Legendary. Shield Disintegration. Add the order Shield Disintegration to the weapon. Your attack on the shield barrier will invalidate the shield barrier of the unit for a certain period of time. The higher the damage to the shield barrier caused by this attack, the longer the effect lasts. Basic price, 48. 1,000 years of life tradable. Shield Disintegration. Qianfeng narrowed his eyes. This effect is very useful in certain situations, but it is useless in most situations. If you buy this Sublimation Scroll, all shields and barriers will be younger brothers in front of me in the future. After reading the introduction, Qianfeng clearly understood the function of this thing. Every attack will invalidate the target's shield barrier, and the attack target will not be able to generate a new shield barrier for a period of time. If you keep attacking, the target will not be able to generate a shield barrier. The simplest thing is that after having this ability, all the defensive barriers in the hiding places are useless to Qianfeng. Moreover, there are many boss in the middle and late stages, all of which have shield barrier mechanisms. If you take down this scroll, there will be an epic boss that can be taken down. Qianfeng led a team to kill many epic boss in his previous life, but most of them are in the later stage of the strategy, and their levels are very high, just like the two-headed phoenix Lutzel, which cannot be dealt with for the time being. As for the lower level epic boss, there are not many. The main reason is that Qianfeng is not sure about the timing and conditions of those bosses. He has been leveling up these 2 days, and he has also run to 2 places outside the ruins of the Magic City, but he did not encounter the epic boss in his memory. But he knows the location of an epic boss. It is outside Zhanghai City, in an underground river, and will appear periodically. Qianfeng mainly moved around in the ruins of Zhanghai City in his previous life, and he is very familiar with the surrounding, but he has not done much research on other places. The price of 48,000 years of life is a bit expensive. In fact, this price is not expensive, but the key Sublimation Scroll is a consumable and can only be used once. For example, this Weapon Sublimation Scroll, after using it on a weapon, the effect is attached to the weapon. If you change the weapon, the effect will be gone. Of course, this is not a problem for Qianfeng at the moment, because he has a Blade of Judgment, which can definitely be used until the end. At this moment, Qinfeng certainly won't buy it directly. He must spend more time with Brother Qi to get a discount. Then, Qinfeng continued to check other products. There are even several Magic Circle Cornerstone, but unfortunately the best one is only Diamond Grade. If used to build the Life Source Magic Circle, it can reduce the various life consumption of the hiding place by 84%. This includes using the teleportation array in the hiding place to teleport, and also using life to replenish the durability of the defensive barrier. The replenishment ratio of the defensive barrier is based on 1 day of life and replenishing 1,000 points of durability. Use this diamond. If you build a life source magic array with a diamond level magic array foundation stone, you can replenish 6250 durability by consuming 1 day of life. Qinfeng sighed. This effect can only be said to be average. However, at this stage, he has no better way to obtain a higher quality magic array foundation stone. Either wait for Brother Qi to come again in about half a month to see if he can brush out a higher quality one, or you can only wait for other channels, and other channels are more difficult and costly. After all, Brother Qi's stuff can be discounted. Diamond level magic array foundation stone. The price is 12,000 years of life. If it can be discounted by 50%, it will only take 6,000 years, which is not bad for Qinfeng. This thing is also necessary. Although it is almost impossible for anyone to attack his hiding place, it is also good to reduce the cost of teleportation. Once the life source array is built, it can operate permanently without additional investment. Qinfeng uses the teleportation array quite a lot, especially in the future. If you want to travel around the world, the lifespan consumed will add up to a considerable expense. With this thing, you can save 84% of the teleportation cost, so why not? Then, Qinfeng looked at other equipment and skill book, but didn't see anything useful. Some equipment. The official may need it. Qinfeng plans to give the official a price. If the official wants it, he will help the official to buy it on his behalf. He doesn't need to charge a handling fee. The official will sell it at the same price as the original price. Anyway, there must be a discount when Qinfeng actually buys it. The discount is his profit. It's reasonable, right? In addition, Anfeng saw a skill book that is useful to him. Vanished Platinum. General skill book. After learning, when you die, your body will disappear immediately. But basic price. 80 years of life tradable. This is a very strange passive skill book. Generally, it is useless. But if you encounter a skill like Flower Curse, or a boss with the ability of Nightmare Hell Flower after you die, then the effect of this skill will be reflected. No corpse will be left, no corpse will be touched, no life will be sucked away, and there are even some other means to prevent it. This skill book can be taken. You can try to evolve it. Can there be some surprises? Qinfeng is still looking forward to the general skill book. After all, many general skill books have strange effects, and there may be unexpected gains when they evolve. Then there is only one question. How much discount can Qinfeng get? The longer you stay with Brother Qi, the higher the discount will be. Up to 50% off for Qinfeng. This discount must be fully extended. After scanning the other party's product list, Qinfeng sent a private message to Wanye Weiyu and sent a price list of the Jade. Diamond level equipment and skill books of the NPC. Place an order if you want it. Qinfeng said. Wanye Weiyu was very nervous. Master, you are next to the Lava Giant now. The Lava Giant is selling things. Will it not last long? I will verify it with the higher-ups as soon as possible. Qinfeng heard that she was very anxious and smiled and said, Don't worry, it's easy for me. I can decide within 10 minutes. Huh! Wanye Weiyu was shocked on the spot, because she learned from the official Dun Huang that the Lava Giant was surrounded by fire damage within a few dozen kilometers. The basic damage per second is 156,000, and it ignores the shield and directly affects the health value. With such terrible damage, how can the master stay in there for 10 minutes? Wanye Weiyu felt a little numb on her scalp. This is simply outrageous. Although she had made many estimates of Qinfeng's ability, it really did not include the ability to withstand such violent fire damage. You know, Qinfeng is just an assassin. At this stage, the most tanky assassin profession in the official system has a fire element resistance of no more than 75%. Originally, the elemental resistance of leather armor is not much, and with a full set of fire resistance equipment, it is very terrifying to have 75%, but Wanye Weiyu casually calculated and concluded that Qinfeng's damage reduction to fire element damage has reached at least 97%. Only in this way can he stay next to the boss for such a long time, under the blood recovery effect of Spring Breeze every second. However, Shauna's Spring Breeze can only last for more than 5 minutes at most. How can he recover for more than 5 minutes? Wanye Weiyu's mind was a little confused, but now is not the time to be confused. Although she was shocked, she quickly reported the list of goods and prices sent by Qinfeng. Qinfeng is here. He and the gray chicken squatted next to Brother Qi. Brother Qi, who was more than 1,000 meters tall and shrouded in flames, lowered his head and looked at Qinfeng expectantly. When it found that Qinfeng had looked at the goods but did not say what he wanted to buy, it suddenly became nervous and uncomfortable. Friend, don't you have what you want? Hanfeng thought. Wouldn't it be stupid to buy it now? He smiled and shook his head, and said politely, I'll take a look and think about it. The little phoenix on the side couldn't help it. Why only ask him? Not ask you, Brother Phoenix. Can't Brother Phoenix consume? When Brother Qi heard this voice, His big eyes with flames looked around. Who is talking? Who is Brother Phoenix? The gray chicken stood on Qin Feng's shoulder. Hearing this, he got a little angry and jumped on top of Qin Feng's head. Hey, here. Your Brother Phoenix is here. It waved its gray wing. Oh, Brother Qi laughed. You are a chicken. I thought you were a gray scarf. Too small. Are you stupid? I am a phoenix. The gray chicken put its wings on its waist. Han Feng reached out, lifted the little phoenix's neck, took it off his head, and rubbed it in his palm. Not to mention, it feels good? Isn't this just a little chicken? Han Feng laughed. Pulu pulu pulu. The little phoenix was rubbed so hard that his nose came out. And he wanted to cry but had no tears? Who made Qin Feng its master? Although its strength attribute is higher than Qin Feng, it is completely powerless to resist. Then can I call you Brother Chicken? Brother Qi was still very curious about the gray chickens. He felt the same origin of fire and was very kind. I was born in the magma. I am the king of fire. You should call me brother. Gray Chicken was still very proud. However, Qin Feng threw it into Brother Qi's palm after hearing this. The fire around Brother Qi has high damage, but it is far less than the fire damage on Brother Qi. The fire coming out of this super giant NPC can even cause damage of up to 1 million per second. Hiss hot, 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 hot. The little phoenix jumped up on the spot, and the gray hair on its body seemed to be burning. Qin Feng laughed. Let you pretend again? Time passed bit by bit. Brother Qi was very happy and excited to see that there was a man and a phoenix to accompany him. Even when the little phoenix called him silly brother, it had no objection. Qin Feng knew that although this lava giant was thousands of meters high, it did not have the hell phoenix like the gray chicken, the inherited memory of the tribe. The intelligence of this giant is basically the same as that of a child. It's a pity that this NPC cannot be invited back for the time being. Qin Feng felt a little sorry. In fact, until he was reborn in the previous life, this NPC was not invited back by anyone. Moreover, if he really wanted to invite this giant, how to deal with the flame damage surrounding dozens of kilometers is a problem, at least for now. No hiding place can withstand such a burning flame. Han Feng naturally has no plan. Time passed by bit by bit. In this flame, Qin Feng's flame resistance was full, and the blood loss per second was only 1748 points. The spring breeze from the Veiled Beauty Shana can restore Qin Feng's health by 4200 points per second. So in the few minutes that this effect lasted, Qin Feng was always in full health. In fact, if it was just this little blood loss, Qin Feng could even temporarily run out of the range after the spring breeze effect ended, so that the beautiful woman Shanna could give him another spring breeze effect. In this way, Qin Feng can't be burned to death at all, and he can stay next to the NPC for as long as he wants. Anyway, with the gray chicken next to the NPC, the discount timer will not be interrupted. But it is obvious, the system cannot give such a bug. When the price of the product drops to 80% off, the fire damage around Brother Qi will gradually increase. This is not Brother Qi's own wish. It comes from the punishment rules given to it by the god-abandoned game, just to make it lonely forever. As for why it is punished like this, no one knows. When the fire damage is higher and higher, even when the blood loss is tens of thousands per second, the spring breeze is useless. Beside the NPC, you will get an extra 10% discount for every minute. Stay for 5 minutes and the discount will be full. But it is said that if you stay for 10 minutes, special products may appear in its product list. This is why Qin Feng told Wanye Weiyu that he would make a decision within 10 minutes, just over 5 minutes later. The spring breeze effect on Qin Feng and the gray chicken finally disappeared, and the man and the phoenix have begun to burn. The surrounding flames have caused more than 700 damage per second to Qin Feng, more than double the initial damage. But this damage is not too high. Da Yang Wei known, the Abyss Withering Curse. Qin Feng raised his hand and covered himself and the gray chicken together. In fact, Qin Feng wanted to try whether he could make the lava giant wither as well, and wondered if he could reduce its fire damage. But this NPC cannot be attacked. Once attacked, the lava giant can flatten people with a slap. At this time, the gray chicken was playing with Brother Qi and was hit by the Withering Curse, and a question mark slowly appeared on his head. What are you doing? Hit me quickly, Qin Feng said. The gray chicken flapped its wings with a look of horror on its face. Your Majesty, you can't.